Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and we are back with a bit of a hotfix PTR update, which includes some tuning changes to Demon Hunters. There's a lot of other changes too. We don't care about those. We're Havoc and Vengeance players here. We're gonna go over the Demon Hunter changes. Like the video, subscribe, and comment. Helps with the video. We just passed 7,000, which is crazy, so thank you all so much. Follow me on Twitch too. We just passed 700 there, pushing up. So, nothing too crazy in this build here, pretty minor stuff. We'll see if there's more changes coming in the future. But scrolling down here, first one is Demon Hunter. So they do say in addition to the blow changes, there'll be additional tuning planned that we applied to PTR over the week. So we'll see if we get more stuff. But right now, these two changes are for both. So Immolation Aura damage reduced by 8%. Now that is both for Havoc and for Vengeance. And then to compensate, Sigil of Flame duration increased by 2 seconds. Now this is a damage buff to Sigil of Flame. Those 2 seconds are also 2 more ticks. So don't be like, oh, is it the same damage? It should be a buff. Pretty sure it is a buff. That's important there. And then finally, just for Havoc, Demon Hide magic damage bonus reduced to 4% from 5. Demon Hide was the talent node in the top right of our tree, which gave you 5% increased magic damage done and 5% reduced physical damage taken. Now, what are these changes entail? So I have a bunch of sims. You can see the top of my screen here. We'll go over those in a second, but I do just want to talk about just kind of conceptually why these came through. So for those of you who haven't been paying attention, Havoc and Vengeance actually have both been performing very, very strong on PTR. It's not a surprise to see these nerfs come in, especially with those aimed more so at Mythic Plus. We were one of the top 2 specs in Mythic Plus, the other one being Outlaw Rogue, which got a 6% aura nerf. They were stronger than us in single target by a good margin. I think by like 10-20k DPS or something like that. But it's a little bit hard to nerf Havoc without just kind of killing them in single target or like one or the other, because right now our builds are all very close to each other. But you know, if you're going to nerf some AoE stuff, you're going to end up nerfing one of the builds that's strong in single target too. So it's going to be very tight to end up changing things without having too many like knock-on effects. So I was very expecting the Immolation Aura nerf to come through. Now 8% is a lot, but it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. There's a lot of other changes that aren't mentioned here that do kind of offset this a bit. 8% for Immolation Aura. Immolation Aura, we can go look at a D-Slice Sim really quickly. So this is an old D-Slice Sim. Immolation Aura is like 16% of your damage. So 8% of that is not the biggest thing ever. We'll have numbers, and I do have numbers for everything. But 8% off that isn't like crazy. It does bring us down. And then Sigil of Flame duration is a nice buff. And then this is like a 1% magic damage reduction. So we're in this spot now where we're still very strong. But I don't think we're that much of an outlier compared to other things. I think right now there's a lot of specs kind of clustered towards the top of the pack. Havoc, Outlaw, Og Evoker, Demo Warlock, one of the Shaman, I think Enhancement Shaman, Frost Mage, Boomy are all very strong. Survival Hunter, all like in that kind of similar echelon of how playable they are. So I think right now all those specs are pretty close. Maybe Havoc and Outlaw might be still a bit ahead, but we'll see what happens there. But let's get into numbers here. So we have different builds here. So I don't have anything to compare from before, but I can tell you the numbers. So beforehand we had roughly 253 k DPS. Pretty low here. This is cycle build for anyone who's unaware. And for cycle, the changes amount to 1.4%. Now you're probably wondering, that's a lot for someone who doesn't use Immolation Aura that much. And the reason for that is actually an unmentioned change here, especially if you go book here, it's not mentioned. Beforehand, Soul Scar, so Soul Rend, was double dipping off of versatility. So you'd throw the glaive and your versatility would increase glaive damage. And then your versatility would also then increase the dot, which would basically cause you to scale a bit stronger off of versatility than otherwise. Now that's been removed. So Soul Scar is doing a lot less than before. You can see it's actually dropped down here under the hunt. And one other change that actually come through as well, which has kind of helped to kind of balance out these nerfs. And that is also to Demon Hide. Now this still says 5%, it's 4% now. But this wasn't actually working on dots for some odd reason. So anything that's a dot. So Burning Wound was not being increased by this. Soul Scar was not being increased by this. The Hunt was not being increased by that. Sigil of Flame, which isn't on the tree anymore, was not being increased by that. So it's not in the game right now. It's intended to be implemented. But Soul Scar will now actually be buffed by Demon Hide. All your dots will be buffed by Demon Hide. So those things do help kind of offset the nerfs we come in here. Same with the increase of Sigil of Flame damage. So for single target, for cycle, not too big of a deal. 1.4% nerf. Our AoE left-right build is this one here. Now this one did get hit like harder than the other one did. Got hit by roughly 1.9%. Now it's like 1.3% behind cycle here. And then finally we have No Mover. No Mover got hit by also 1.4%. It's still roughly 2% behind No Mover. Now there is a little caveat here. Scroll down to expert mode options. This is with bugs equals 0. There is one bug that's been present for Havoc the entire expansion pretty much, and that's with Sigil of Flame kind of double, triple ticking. Like the dot just does 3 times what it should. And that's never really been addressed as a bug. I'm sure Reels knows about it, but it's not really like around. Now these sims are without that bug. The reason for that is because to compare to my previous sims, which I deleted, I don't have them anymore, sorry. But to compare to my previous sims, I had to use bugs equals 0 because we had some pretty sizable bugs where death sweeps weren't actually throwing out glaives in the tier set, and like things were interacting with cycle weird. So just to keep things consistent, I had bugs equals 0 for that. But if we do get rid of the bugs equals 0, then these sims are a lot closer, and this build here is only like 0.9% behind cycle. So things are still pretty good in terms of build diversity. It's at least in raid, we're still doing like fine. In M+, so this is a sim with the Sigil of Flame bug from beforehand, just so I could show you guys. So there's nothing down here. We switch over to afterwards. So beforehand is looking like this, 362. Immolation Aura, 21 million, and then all the other magic damage and stuff. Afterwards, we come here, 360. So that's like a 1%, 1 to 2% nerf. This is Dungeon Slice. Dungeon Slice doesn't accurately sim things, so like don't worry too much there because of how just weird Dungeon Slice is. But in general, not too big of a nerf in dungeons. We might see something more happening. I don't know. It's kind of tough to say one way or the other what's going to happen, because if they nerf some of this AoE build, then they do end up running. Oh, this isn't even the right talent. Okay, ignore that. This is I don't know why this is popping up like this. That's not the tree. The tree looks like this. You can kind of see it here. But if they end up nerfing the AoE stuff, we might kind of eat into the build diversity in single target. So we'll have to see what happens. But you can see the Immolation Aura is less than beforehand, 16%. Sigil of Flame absolutely cranks now, 2.8% compared to 2.2% here, and then 2% here. So Sigil Flame, very, very powerful. This is with the bug, it's like 0.8% stronger. This is without the Sigil Flame bug. So just wanted to compare there. So TLDR in single target, 1.5% loss, less so with the Sigil Flame bug, which we'll start to incorporate for the next few weeks if we get more changes. So roughly 1% to 1.5% in raid, and then in AoE, 1% to 2%. So slight nerfs, nothing too crazy right now. Havoc is still in a good spot. However, I think if they continue to nerf it more, then we might start falling out of being in a great spot. We're still towards the upper end of things. In raid, we're fine. We're above average in raid for single target. We're like upper middle for single target with really good cleave, which is great. That's where we should be. And then for M+, we're in like the upper echelon of a bunch of other different classes. I think we're maybe still a bit better than them, but definitely at this point, I don't think we're really that much of an outlier anymore. So I think if we get another set of nerfs, I'll be mad. And I'll be like, why? You know, I don't think we deserve these that much. But I think at this point, we're still happy with where we are. But we will see what happens in the coming days. So those are going to be the sims. Quick video today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below. Vengeance, I don't have any sims for. Immolation Aura wasn't a ton of your damage. Sigil Flame duration increased is good defensiveness and stuff, so happy overall. But yeah, so that's it for the changes today. We'll see if there's more. Like the video, comment, subscribe for more content and stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to all my channel members. Thank you to Andrew Kino, Payne, Latand, Period, Brad Wisniak, Zuligan, Oxclamation, It's Bulk, and Howley. Thank you all of those people. You guys are great and appreciate the support you're giving me. If you want to support the channel and get a few cool perks in the meantime, click the link in the description. Brings you to a place where you can learn more about becoming a channel member. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.